Stop waiting to feel secure to start acting, because that feeling doesn't come alone. Security doesn't appear out of nowhere, nor is it a privilege of a few. It is built on firm decisions, discipline, and courage. Every time you postpone a step waiting to feel confident, you feed the insecurity that holds you back. If you want respect, you must first respect yourself, and that means stop giving your value to the opinions of others. The problem is that most people live believing that self-confidence is a trait you are born with, or a prize that comes when everything goes well. Nothing could be further from the truth. Insecurity is the result of a mind that has become accustomed to depending on external factors, praises, approval, and favorable circumstances. As long as you keep thinking like this, any criticism will break you, any rejection will disarm you, any mistake will make you doubt yourself. That is the prison we are going to tear down. Stoicism is not a pretty speech to motivate you for a couple of minutes. It is a philosophy that translates into daily practice. It is learning to control the only thing you will always have under your power: your mind, your judgments, your emotions, and your way of reacting. A truly secure man or woman does not need to prove it with words, because their attitude speaks for them. True strength is silent. It does not depend on applause or everything going perfect. It is forged in the midst of adversity and stands even when everything else fails. In this video, you will not find superficial advice to fake confidence or empty phrases to deceive yourself. Here you will discover principles that you can put into practice from today to stop acting like a victim of circumstances and start living as the owner of your character. The goal is not for you to become someone who never feels fear, but someone capable of moving forward with fear, maintaining control in conflicts, and respecting himself so much that no one can tear him down with an insult, a failure, or a rejection. 1. Decide your worth without outside approval. A lighthouse doesn't ask for permission to turn on its light. It simply shines to guide those who navigate in the darkness. So should your personal worth be: a firm light that doesn't depend on applause or the gaze of others to stay lit. The most common mistake people make is to believe that their worth increases or decreases according to the opinion of others. That thought chains you because you live trying to meet expectations that never end, and you end up wearing yourself out trying to convince the world of something that only you should be clear about. Since we were children, we are accustomed to associating self-worth with grades, awards, comparisons, comments from others. This habit follows us into adulthood, where we let a compliment lift our spirits and a criticism tear it down. Living like this is like building your house on sand. A malicious word will be enough to knock down what you thought was solid. The Stoics understood that the only stable thing is what depends on you, what comes from within you. If your confidence is based on applause, you are giving up your power and allowing anyone to determine how you feel about yourself. Deciding your worth is a silent, almost rebellious act, because it implies stopping asking for permission to be who you are. It means looking at yourself without masks, recognizing your flaws and virtues, and stop justifying your existence. It's not about completely ignoring external opinions, but about stop needing them to feel that you're worth it. This mental independence is the basis of authentic security, which does not crumble when rejection comes, nor inflates when it receives compliments. A Stoic exercise to start strengthening this principle is daily self-affirmation, not as an empty mantra, but as a rational reminder. Every morning say to yourself, "My worth does not depend on their approval. My peace does not depend on their mood. My effort is mine and does not need applause." Do it consciously, thinking about each word, because your mind needs new patterns to replace old habits of seeking validation. By repeating it, you train your thinking to stop giving your power to others. Another practical step is learning to filter external judgments. Always ask yourself, is what they say under my control? Does it contribute anything real to my growth? If the answer is no, discard it without guilt. Epictetus taught that the opinions of others only hurt when we accept them as true. Every time you give up your peace for a comment, you give up your inner freedom. Remember that the respect you demand from others begins with the respect you give to yourself. No one is going to value you more than you do. You should also set clear boundaries. People who feel that their worth depends on approval tend to say yes to everything to avoid rejection. Learn to say no without feeling guilty. Strength of character is reflected in the ability to defend your space and your decisions, even if others don't like it. There is nothing more powerful than someone who knows their worth and stands firm, because it conveys a respect that needs no explanations. The security that comes from deciding your worth is like an invisible wall that protects you from manipulation and destructive criticism. It doesn't mean becoming arrogant or closed to learning, but firm in the face of the instability of public opinion. You can't control if others admire or criticize you, but you can control if you let their words affect the way you walk through life. Owning your worth is to stop living as a reflection of the judgments of others. 2. Act even with fear. Fear is like a long shadow at sunset. No matter how small the object casting it, the shadow always seems larger than it is. That's how fear works. It distorts reality and magnifies problems until they seem insurmountable. However, the curious thing is that the shadow disappears when you dare to take a step towards the light. That's the lesson many don't learn. You don't have to wait for the fear to go away. You have to move despite it. Most remain paralyzed, waiting for the perfect moment, that instant when they believe they will stop feeling fear. But that moment doesn't exist. Fear doesn't magically disappear. It diminishes with action. Each time you move, make decisions, take a step even if your voice trembles or your hands sweat, fear loses a bit of power over you. It's like a weak muscle that atrophies if you stop feeding it with your doubts. Stoicism teaches us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, plagues, and betrayals, and never wrote about waiting to feel ready. He spoke of duty, action, not giving into emotions that cloud judgment. The Stoics understood that fear is just an emotion, not a dictator. You can listen to it, but you are not obliged to obey it. To practice this principle, start by identifying what you fear. Name it clearly: fear of failing, disappointing, losing. When you name the fear, you stop fighting with a shadow and start dealing with something concrete. Then ask yourself, what depends on me in this situation? That question is a sword that cuts the root of panic because it forces you to focus on what you can control, not what you imagine. Another useful exercise is to gradually expose yourself to what intimidates you. If you fear public speaking, start by speaking in front of a few people, then in front of larger groups. If you fear starting a project, take the first step, even if you don't have everything resolved. Constant action, no matter how small, erodes fear like water wears down rock. Don't wait for confidence to appear before you move. Confidence is born when you move. You should also change the internal narrative. Often fear feeds on catastrophic thoughts. It's going to go wrong. I'm going to make a fool of myself. I'm not prepared. A Stoic approach is to ask yourself, what's the worst scenario and can I survive it? In most cases, you'll find that yes, you can handle it. Anticipating the worst outcome is not pessimism, it's preparation. When your mind understands that it's not the end of the world, fear loses its ability to control you. Remember that fear never completely disappears. Even the bravest feel it, but they don't give it the helm of their lives. Every time you choose to act, you demonstrate that your will is stronger than that emotion. Over time, this constant practice forges a character that doesn't tremble in the face of challenges, because it has learned to walk with fear by its side without letting it lead. Acting despite fear is a decision that is made every day, in big and small ways. From speaking to someone who intimidates you to making a decision that can change the course of your life. Each step you take against that impulse to back down is a silent victory that strengthens your spirit. In the end, Fear doesn't disappear, but it stops being a prison and becomes a simple companion that you no longer fear to look in the eye. 3. Let go of what you cannot control. Hands that try to catch water only end up empty. The tighter you squeeze your fingers, the faster it escapes between them. Such is life when you cling to what you cannot control. The more you obsess over holding on to it, the more frustration you accumulate. This silent struggle consumes energy, steals peace, and leaves the mind exhausted. Learning to let go is not giving up. It's recognizing that there are battles that should never have been fought, because they don't depend on you. Humans have a habit of carrying burdens that don't belong to them. They worry about other people's opinions, others' decisions, the weather, the past, what has not yet happened. It's like carrying stones in a backpack that never empties, believing that one day that weight will bring control or security. But all it achieves is to wear itself out on what has no solution. The Stoics were clear about this. The key to serenity is to distinguish between what is in your hands and what is beyond them. Epictetus taught that we are free when we understand that only our actions, judgments, and choices belong to us. Nothing more. Trying to control the will of others, the results of each effort, or external circumstances is to live chained to disappointment. Most people suffer not because of what happens, but because of the expectation that things should be different than they are. It's this internal resistance that generates anguish, not the fact itself. To put this principle into practice, start by observing your daily thoughts. Each time you feel anxiety or anger, ask yourself, does this depend on me? If the answer is no, let it go. Not as one who abandons a duty, but as one who drops something that serves no purpose other than to exhaust their strength. This exercise of mental sorting is liberating because it clarifies where to invest your energy and where to accept reality as it is. Another useful practice is to set boundaries with the information you consume. Often stress comes from wanting to control everything that happens in the world: news, social media, opinions of strangers. Limit your attention to what you can influence and act only in that area. Thus, your mind stops scattering in scenarios you will never be able to change and begins to focus on what it can transform. Accepting what you cannot control does not mean indifference or apathy. It means directing your efforts strategically without wasting it fighting against the tide. Stoicism does not teach passivity. It teaches to invest your energy in what bears fruit: your attitude, your work, your character. Every time you manage to stay calm in the face of an unexpected result or someone else's decision, you demonstrate that your inner strength is growing. A daily example. Imagine you work hard on a project and do not achieve the recognition you expected. You can be bitter about others' reactions, or focus on improving your skills and continuing to meet your standards. The former drains you, the latter strengthens you. The difference lies in where you decide to place your focus, on what you control or on what you don't. Letting go of what you cannot control is an act of bravery, because it requires giving up the illusion of absolute power. It allows you to free up mental space for what truly matters and to build a peace that does not depend on the external climate. Over time, you discover that life flows better when you're not trying to stop the river with your hands, but navigating it with intelligence. 4. Master the process, not the outcome. The archer who shoots his arrow cannot control the wind, the movement of the target, or what happens after releasing the string. He can only focus on his posture, the tension of the bow, and the direction of his shot. Such is life. The outcome is out of your hands, but the process is entirely yours. Those who live obsessed with the final destination lose precision because they stop focusing on the only point where they have real power, the present, and what they are doing now. Most people suffer not from a lack of talent, but from anxiety about the future. They think so much about what should happen that they neglect the action they must take. It's like planting a seed and digging it up every day to see if it has sprouted. This impatience not only hinders natural growth, but also drains motivation and increases frustration. The Stoics understood that tranquility is achieved when one learns to separate effort from results, when progress is measured by consistency, not by immediate reward. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we cannot control the fruit of our actions, only the actions themselves. This thought shatters the illusion that success can be guaranteed, but in return delivers something much more valuable: peace of mind. If you fulfill your duty with discipline and focus, no matter how adverse the environment, you will know that you gave your best. This certainty is what keeps the mind steady when things don't go as expected. To apply this principle, start by setting daily goals that depend solely on you. For example, if you want to improve your physical condition, your goal should not be to lose 10 pounds, but to train 30 minutes a day and to eat consciously. If you aim to write a book, don't focus on publishing it successfully. Concentrate on writing 1,000 words every morning. This shift in focus prevents you from getting frustrated by external factors and gives you a sense of constant progress. Another practical exercise is to train patience. Every time you feel anxious about the results, remind yourself that the process is an investment and that its reward is not always immediately visible. Like the archer who practices his aim over and over without expecting applause every day, trust that repetition and commitment build the skill that will eventually bear fruit. Discipline is the real ground where character is forged. It is also important to learn to accept mistakes as a natural part of the journey. Many people give up because they don't see the expected result at first, but forgetting that failures teach more than successes is to miss the opportunity to grow. Each stumble reveals weaknesses in your method and gives you the opportunity to correct. Whoever masters the process sees the error as valuable information, not as a reason to give up. A concrete example: imagine a student who focuses only on getting the best grade in the course. He will live stressed, pending each grade and fearing each exam. On the other hand, if he decides to focus on studying consistently, practicing exercises, and improving his understanding, the results will be a natural consequence of his effort. His mind will be more at ease because he will know that he did what depended on him. Mastering the process not only gives you better long-term results, but it also teaches you to enjoy the journey. 5. Silence your plans. Prove with actions. Seeds do not loudly announce that they are going to become trees. They simply germinate in silence, grow patiently under the ground, and one day, without prior notice, they sprout with force towards the light. This is how your projects and goals should also grow, in silence, away from the noise of others' opinions and the temptation to boast about what you have not yet achieved. Talking less about what you are going to do and focusing on doing it is a practice that the Stoics valued because it saves energy, protects your focus, and frees you from unnecessary expectations. The most common mistake of many people is to spend more time telling what they plan to do than dedicating it to execute it. Every word you throw into the air about a future plan is a part of your energy that disperses. Also, sharing your intentions too soon opens the door to criticism, doubts, and opinions that can weaken your determination before you even start. Seneca warned that the more noise you make about your aspirations, the easier it is for failure to feel like public humiliation and not like a natural part of learning. Practicing strategic silence does not mean becoming hermetic or distrustful with everyone. It means learning to differentiate between speaking out of necessity and speaking impulsively. There are times when you need to communicate, ask for advice, or coordinate efforts, but it is not the same as announcing every step of your journey. By maintaining discretion, you protect your motivation from the judgments of others and avoid the self-deception of feeling that you have already advanced just by having talked about it. One way to exercise this discipline is to resist the impulse to post every goal on social networks or to comment on it with everyone around you. Ask yourself, is it really useful to share this now, or am I just seeking approval? If the answer is the latter, keep silent and focus that energy on progressing. In the end, the best validation comes from results, not from likes or comments from those who do not understand the effort behind each achievement. Often the fear of failure becomes more intense because you have already told half the world what you are going to do. If you keep your intentions to yourself until you have solid progress, you eliminate that psychological burden and can work with greater freedom and serenity. The Stoics understood that true progress is internal. It does not need a spectacle. Remember that actions always speak louder than words. A person who is dedicated to working consistently and lets their actions speak for them inspires respect without the need for speeches. On the contrary, whoever promises a lot and does not deliver quickly loses credibility. Discretion not only protects your path, it also builds a reputation based on consistency between what you say and what you do. Imagine someone who dreams of changing careers and decides to secretly study at night. While others waste time justifying their intentions or waiting for approval, that person progresses in silence and months later surprises everyone with a new achievement that seemed to come out of nowhere. That is the power of silence. It allows you to progress without distractions and present results when they really count. Silencing your plans is not hiding, it's strategy. It is understanding that your energy is limited and that every word must be invested with purpose. The more you develop this practice, the more you will notice how your focus strengthens, your determination grows, and your progress becomes inevitable. In a world that rewards noise, true respect is earned by demonstrating with actions. 6. Face the worst-case scenario. Storms don't stop just because you close your eyes, nor does the sea calm because you pretend waves don't exist. The same goes for problems. Ignoring them doesn't make them disappear. It only allows them to grow silently until they eventually overflow. Facing the worst-case scenario doesn't mean seeking disaster. It means to stop running from the inevitable and mentally prepare yourself to withstand it if it comes. This preparation is not pessimism, it's anticipated strength. Most people live trying to avoid thinking about the worst, believing that this will keep it at bay. But what happens is quite the opposite. Fear feeds on mystery, on the unknown. The less you look at it, the bigger it becomes in your mind. The Stoics, on the other hand, practiced an exercise called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would sit and imagine possible obstacles and losses, not to torture themselves, but to train their character to face them. By mentally confronting the worst-case scenario, they found that it was not as devastating as it seemed and reduced the emotional impact of the unexpected. In everyday life, facing the worst-case scenario means asking yourself uncomfortable questions. What's the worst that could happen if I make this decision? Can I survive that outcome? What would I do if it happened? This type of reflection gives you clarity because it removes the veil of fear and allows you to draw up a realistic plan. A mind that has considered its own falls stops fearing them so much because they are no longer an unknown threat, but a challenge it knows it can face. For example, someone who fears starting a new business for fear of failure can sit down and detail the worst that could happen. Lose money, have to look for another job, deal with criticism. By putting it on the table, they realize that none of these things mean the end of their life or their dignity. A practical step to apply this principle is to write down the 3 worst scenarios you imagine for the decision that scares you the most today. Then write how you could respond to each one. By doing so, you discover that your mind does not freeze in fear, but begins to focus on solutions. This exercise gives you back control because it stops being a diffuse emotion and becomes an action plan. Facing the worst-case scenario also strengthens resilience because it trains you to accept that life will not always be comfortable or fair. True security does not come from everything going well, but from knowing that whatever happens, you will have the strength and ability to get back up. Every time you dare to look straight at what you fear the most, you steal power from fear and regain energy to act decisively. This approach does not mean living in anticipation of disasters or surrendering to fate. It means opening your eyes and saying, "If the worst comes, I'll be ready to face it." This thought frees you from constant anxiety because you no longer walk with the feeling of being at the mercy of the unknown. The worst-case scenario stops being a hidden monster and becomes a calculated obstacle that you know how to overcome. Imagine a speaker who fears making a fool of himself in public. If he remains trapped in fear, he will never speak. But if he accepts that he may forget his words, that someone may laugh, or that he may make a mistake and still decides to prepare and take the stage, that acceptance gives him freedom. He knows that the worst-case scenario does not destroy him. It only challenges him to improve. Facing the worst-case scenario is the art of stopping negotiations with fear. 7. Turn ideas into immediate actions. Ideas are like sparks in the dark. They shine for an instant, but if they don't fall on something that feeds them, they go out without leaving a trace. Every goal you've imagined, every change you've promised, every step you know you should take but keep postponing, is a spark waiting to become a fire. The problem is that most people just watch the spark, fascinated by its brightness, instead of fanning the flame with action. Ideas without action transform nothing. They become dead weight that feeds frustration. People often believe they need motivation to act, but the truth is that motivation appears once you've already started. Waiting for the perfect moment is one of the most common traps of the mind. The Stoics taught that will must govern over emotions and moods. If you know what you have to do it, even if you don't feel like it, even if you feel fear or fatigue. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," you're training your mind to distrust yourself because you break the promises you make to yourself. Insecurity feeds on lack of action and unfinished attempts. On the other hand, every step you take, however small, builds internal evidence that you are someone capable of moving forward. Stoicism means taking control of what depends on you, and your will to act is always within your reach. To put this principle into practice, start by reducing the size of the action. If you have a big goal, don't try to solve it all at once. Ask yourself, what is the first concrete step I can take right now? Then do it without internal debate. If you want to improve your health, go for a 10-minute walk today. Don't wait to have the perfect exercise plan. If you want to start a business, research one aspect of the project during the next hour. Often you will discover that the biggest obstacle is getting started. Once in motion, resistance disappears. This strategy breaks the cycle of procrastination and shows that discipline is a decision, not a feeling. Stoicism also teaches not to cling to perfection. Many people don't act because they want everything to go flawlessly from the start. That mindset is the enemy of progress. Accept that the first step may be clumsy, incomplete, or imperfect, but it's better than staying still. Learning happens along the way, not in waiting. Imagine someone who dreams of learning a new language. They spend months watching motivational videos, reading tips, but never open the book or listen to a lesson. The idea of learning gives them a false sense of progress, but their reality doesn't change. In contrast, someone who dedicates 15 minutes a day to study, even if they make mistakes, progresses more in a month than the dreamer in a year. Turn your ideas into immediate actions to train your mind to trust in you. Every time you act without waiting for perfect conditions, you strengthen your character and build real results. Over time, you'll realize that you don't need to feel ready to start because progress doesn't wait for the indecisive. Confidence comes from repeated evidence that you can move even when the spark seems fragile. Only then do ideas stop being smoke and transform into fire that lights your path. 8. Speak with firmness and confidence. The human voice is like the rudder of a ship in the open sea. If the rudder trembles, the ship veers with each wave, but when it is firm, even the turbulent waters fail to knock it off its course. So it is with words. They not only convey what you think, but also reveal what you feel and the degree of control you have over yourself. Those who speak firmly do not need to shout or impose. Their confidence is perceived in the tone, in the clarity, and in the coherence between what they say and how they say it. Many people lose respect not because what they say is false, but because they say it in a weak or trembling way. Insecurity is betrayed in every hesitation, in every unnecessary apology, in every word added to soften truths that do not need embellishments. The Stoics taught that self-mastery is also reflected in speech, firm, sober, honest, without an excess of emotions that cloud judgment. Words that come from a balanced character weigh more than impulsive shouts. Speaking firmly does not mean being aggressive or harsh without reason. It means using the voice as a tool of clarity and respect, letting your message be direct, without beating around the bush or excessive justifications. A practical Stoic advice is to learn to say what is necessary without embellishments, because every extra word opens up space for misunderstandings. The silence between well-thought-out sentences is more powerful than a long, nervous speech. To develop this skill, start by taking care of your breathing when you speak. Anxiety often causes the tone to speed up or break, transmitting insecurity. Practice breathing before responding in tense situations. This not only helps you maintain calm, but also gives the impression that you think before you speak. Another useful exercise is to maintain eye contact, not as a challenge, but as a sign of presence and sincerity. Those who avoid eye contact seem to doubt their own words. Also, eliminate the habit of apologizing for having an opinion or justifying every thought. Saying sorry, but before expressing something valid is a sign that you are seeking approval. Change this habit for clear statements. I believe that, I consider that, I disagree for this reason. Respect for your voice begins with how you yourself give space to what you say. A common mistake is to confuse firmness with rudeness. Firmness does not hurt, does not seek to humiliate, but neither does it yield to manipulation, nor does it dilute under pressure. It is based on self-control and commitment to the truth. In discussions or conflicts, maintaining a calm but determined tone is the mark of a trained mind. Imagine someone who needs to set a limit at work. If they do it with a wavering voice, their words lose weight and leave doubts. But if they calmly express, I appreciate your effort, but I need you to respect this agreement, they convey security without confrontation. It's not just about what they say, but about the confidence that backs their words. Firm speech also protects your peace because it reduces misunderstandings and avoids unnecessary conflicts. Every time you choose to express yourself clearly and without hesitation, you reaffirm to yourself that your voice has value. Over time, this habit not only improves how others perceive you, but also how you perceive yourself. Speaking firmly is a reflection that your mind is orderly and that you know how to defend your space without depending on shouts or external approval. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment, I am Stoic, as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.